regular council meeting. It's almost 6:05. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would take your seats and we'll continue. Okay. We'll go to B, action items.
Mayor,
Yes.
before you move on, I'd like to make a motion to give you the liberty to deviate from outlined.
Thank you, appreciate that. All in favor? Is there a second? Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And one second.
Aye.
We have to switch.
Yeah, when we get down there, we'll actually switch, bring 3 up to where 2 is, and then bring 2 down to where 3 is. But we'll cover that. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could have your attention, we're moving on. Okay, this would be a public hearing or / ordinance, truth and taxation, certified tax rate. Kathy? Where'd Kathy go?
She's very back.
Okay. Brian, are you still with us? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
We'll get going here. So this is a certified tax hearing. This notice, this is a new requirement that the state legislature passed. It's actually supposed to begin next year, but we thought we'd start it this year. This is the same notice that went into the newspaper to give the citizens notice is what we're proposing. Basically on a $403,000 home, that's a median, our average home price in Payson as per the county. It would be a $6.65 per year increase. On a $403,000 business, it would be $12.09 per year. Okay, so what we're showing here is kind of some incremented home values and what the net effect of that would be. So at the top of this range is an $800,000 home, and the annual cost increase in property taxes would be $13.20. If you look at this scale or this graph, the green portion is the portion that Payson City takes home, about 12%. The rest goes to other entities. This is the historic view of the certified tax rate in Payson, and you'll see that if we count this year, it'll be the 4th year that we try and maintain property tax at a level rate. I got too far. So a couple of reasons why we want to keep it level is one, so it won't waffle so much in the future. You've seen other entities that when they do a property tax increase, it could be 200% or whatever. This kind of levels out the property tax for citizens and for the city. The net revenue off this would be about $63,000. Do you have any questions?
Well, these graphs were extremely helpful. Thank you.
That's all I've got, unless you have questions.
Any discussion, council? Okay, we'll go ahead and I'll accept the motion for a public hearing.
Mayor, a motion that we open a public hearing for the truth and taxation certified tax rate.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Calls for a, I guess we better do a roll call vote, starting with Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss. Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, we've opened a public hearing. Please, those who would like to speak with this, step to the mic and state your name. Let us know where you live and speak clearly if you would. Please limit your comments. I'm not going to limit you to 3 minutes, but please be cognizant of your time. And whether you agree or disagree with the comments that we've heard from Kathy, and we'll go from there.
Just the certified tax.
Yeah, just
Jumped ahead
just
to
for
the next
truth taxation. Thank you for the reminder. Not seeing anyone that's wants to step to the mic. Is there anybody online? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll accept the motion to do that.
Mayor, motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Any further council discussion?
As we look at other cities, Lehigh proposes 6.1%, Vineyard 18.8. I think it's so important that for the residents who remain solvent and we continue to have a baseline on revenue so we can provide services to them. This current rate doesn't even keep up with inflation, but I think it's much better to do these small incremental increases than a large one. That's where I'm at.
Totally agree.
I like the consistency, knowing what we're gonna do every year. It helps with bonding, and it's a couple of Big Macs for a year, so.
I don't drink coffee, that's what I heard.
Yeah, and we strive to keep this as very low as we can. We really do.
I have a different perspective on this. I think if we keep increasing even just a little bit here and there, everything is increasing here and there, and it all adds up. And I feel like if you say no to exploring something like the Plunder building because it's going to be too expensive, and then you say yes to increasing taxes at the same time, that's conflict. Because we have the money, it wasn't going to increase any taxes or anything for the residents to get the new city building, but this will impact them. This does add to their bills. And I lived not at poverty level growing up, but close to it. And every little dollar counts. And yeah, you can say, oh, it's a Big Mac, but if you have a family, you can get groceries for cheaper than a Big Mac, and if you're smart. So I don't think we need to. I know we don't need to. We're not in a desperate need to increase anything. We'd be fine if we don't. So I would encourage whoever is initially for this to reconsider, because any adding anywhere adds up into a big chunk, and it can impact our families that are struggling already.
I don't think we can say a blanket statement that buying the Plunder building, we wouldn't have to have raised taxes. I think we would have most certainly had to. With the bond amount, I don't see how we couldn't have. So I see a danger in striving to increase spending but decrease revenue. And so that's what I think.
I think we can increase revenue in other areas, but I don't think we need to increase revenue from our current residents who live in our town, who are already struggling. Not everybody is struggling, but there are some people that are struggling. And when you increase just a little bit, everyone is just justifying their increases because it's just a little bit. But when everybody increases just a little bit all at the same time, it adds up a lot, and it takes away from what they need and want. And I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's wrong.
Okay, any other comment? Okay, then in that case, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the truth in taxation and certified tax rate as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded, roll call vote, starting with Council Hewlett,
Yes.
Council Hyatt,
Yes.
Council Moss,
No.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Moving on, with the flexibility the council gives me, we'll move 3 up to the 2 position, public hearing / ordinance, local government officers compensation. Melanie, I guess you're up.
Mayor and council. Just a brief introduction. There was a new statutory requirement to hold a separate public hearing to receive comment on the compensation increase for executive municipal officers. That was SB 91. And this is just the amendment, the bill that was adopted. So I have that there for you. Just want to go over a few of the definitions in the bill. Compensation means salary, a budgeted bonus, or budgeted, I shouldn't say incentive, I apologize, pay, a vehicle allowance, and deferred salary. Compensation increase, that needs to come directly from. So, compensation increase means an increase in any item mentioned in the compensation definitions. Salary, vehicle allowance, increases. The definition for executive municipal officer means the chief administrative officer, the assistant, CEO of the city attorney, an individual who is the head or chief of any city department or division, or an individual who is the chief assistant or deputy of division. So as part of that, we highlighted the proposed increases that are proposed in the budget this year. So these are our executive positions here at Payson, and the proposed total increase for these positions is a 4.5% increase. Any questions?
Council.
How much does that add up to?
Percentage wise, depends on the salary of the person.
I know, but I would think that the total. Do you have that? No.
What did we do for the previous budget? Do we recall percentage wise what we did for the previous?
Last year?
Percentage-wise.
Last year, 10% last year, but we were lagging behind.
You said it was 5% right in here.
Sorry, 10% last year.
Okay.
But Payson City was lagging a bit behind, and we were having difficulty. We still are having some difficulty in our public works. We had a equipment operator position open for almost 2 years, and we just not get qualified candidates, and we are competing in that position
And
with the
it's-
private sector.
And it seems to be because of the pay is not competitive to surrounding cities, is that?
Yes, I mean, and so that was the increase from last year. In fact, I just attended a compensation meeting today with public sector employees, and they had some economists and people there speaking today and talking about the need that it's imperative, and they do a lot of training with elected officials with regard to, we really, sometimes councils want to look at reducing benefits and maybe not implement some of the pay increases, but the public sector we used to be a lot more competitive, but the private sector, we're not as competitive anymore statewide.
And yeah, we could probably never compete private sector as far as wages, but that's where our benefits really, we hope outweigh that and shine, so we have to continue to.
We still have to keep that
Yes.
up. Yes, there was one city that gave an example of a equipment operator that been offered a position for like $8 more an hour. HR person said, go back and ask them some questions on the benefits, bring that back, and let's analyze that together. And if that person had taken the position, private sector, they would have actually been losing some money. So they thanked the HR representative and remained at that city. So
for the most part, it's been my experience that being an employee for about 37 years, that we're not in as much of a competition with the private sector as we are with other cities. And, you know, although we do not want to be held hostage by our employees, we need to pay attention to the wages that we pay them, because other cities will basically steal them from us, and then we're ahead in expenses, we lose them, and then it takes months and months to get another employee, and then they are not as experienced as the employee that left, and we spend months and months training them, especially in the police department. And then there's an added risk there for the learning curve, and so there's some hidden expenses there, and I believe that we need to pay attention to the employees' wage. Council, any other?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So, so is there a way we can do merit increases instead of across the board increases, or is that, we have to disclose this every time? So if we give one, you know, a 5% raise and another 2% raise, and they're gonna see each what we've done on merit increases?
Yes, we still have to disclose.
We can do that, but this is, and this can be the, because of the public hearing, this is up to the 4.5%. That's what we have to put in the hearing, that's what we do. You can do less than that based on merit as well. But you have
So
to-
this is just, I can't hear you very well, any of you, but so this is just an up to, and so this is a maximum, but we can do less if we wanted to, but we can't do more in any one of them.
This would be the maximum. We have to put in there. We can do less. We've actually budgeted this 4.5% for all the employees, but this is what the state legislature required for certain executive officers. So this is what we have to do on a hearing, but we are putting up to 4.5% with all of them. And you can do merit. I think when COVID hit, we tried to get people up to where we're competitive. We do studies within, we have a consultant that we have help us with studies, salary scales and stuff like that. We've been trying to just get people up to where it is a competitive rate. We tried to get people at least to the midpoint of their salary scale, no matter how many years they've had here. But yeah, Brian, to answer your question, with this new statute, the legislature passed, we have to show the maximum somebody could get on the executive officers, and so that's why we're bringing the 4.5%. And I just did a quick calculation. I don't know, I don't have the exact numbers, but it looks like it's about 80 to 84,000 for those officers, if they all got 4.5%. That trying to answer your question the best we could.
Council, any further discussion?
I guess Chief Bishop, how are we doing as far as police wages when compared to surrounding cities? What's your pulse on things right now?
I can give you a pulse today. Salt Lake is one that usually leads out on that, and their starting rate is now going to 33. They just finished their union negotiations, and starting officer is going to be 33 an hour. That's my understanding, but Lehigh is proposing to go to 31. So we're at about, our starting is around 29. So as I was driving back, I told Kathy we're probably going to keep looking at police. So.
Salt Lake really needs officers, don't they? Yeah.
They really want to be a good to Salt Lake.
Especially in the police department, it's really competitive. And again, there is hidden costs there. It takes a long time up to a couple of years to get an officer that is brand new up to speed. And again, there have been times when other departments, other cities have had the signing bonus to entice people to come to their department, and benefits do matter, but hourly wages do as well. Any further discussion, questions? What's up? Yeah, that's what I'm just looking. Okay, we'll go ahead and I'll accept a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we'll open the public hearing, and same instructions as the last public hearing. Please step to the mic and state your name, let us know where you're from, and try to be cognizant of your time, whether you agree or disagree with the information that we've been given by Melanie, and we'll go over that point. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Paul Johnson. I live in Ridgestone Condos here in Payson. I wanted to speak up against it, but only because I think it's actually too low. I actually believe very strongly that this is one of the best things that we can do to offset the cost of living that people in our community and our state face. I like the idea of being able to attract the best and the brightest. I would even say, let's try to poach the best and the brightest from the surrounding cities instead of losing people and not being able to fill positions. So I would speak up, yes, in favor of it, but even if there's a way to go even higher than that, that would be great. If we're at $29 an hour for our police officers, that translates to about $60,000 a year. I just did the quick calculation before I came up. And $60,000 a year is probably not going to cut it in terms of like keeping up with the cost of living for housing and groceries and everything that especially Councilmember Moss was just talking about. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? I'm not seeing anyone, but is there anybody online?
No, Kirk's coming up.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
I got it down too.
Please, appreciate you.
Kirk Beecher, and Payson here. So, the only one comment I had was Jason doesn't get 2 lines, does he?
No, I don't.
Okay, that was one comment. He doesn't get the 9, everybody gets 4. I would echo the previous comment that this 4.5 is just barely above cost of living. I think maybe you ought to go just a little higher, but I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the city. It's a good thing to keep the residents or keep the employees. And we have some good employees. There's no reason not to give them better than cost of living, in my opinion. And Jason, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't get 9.
Kirk, thank you for your comments.
I would, if I did by accident,
Once again, anyone else would like to approach and let us know their opinion? Anybody online? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll accept the motion to do that.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion by the council?
I've long believed, long stated over and over in public, I want the best people to work here in Payson City. It saves our residents money when we don't have to train over and over again. I want us to be competitive. I want this to be a place people are proud to work, and I hope we can at least compete with wages and our benefits. And this is a small way to do that and to say thank you to the employees. But I also like that it is a modest amount too. I'm glad we're not doing another 10%. I'm glad it's a modest amount, and we're going to stay competitive, but we're not going to overdo it. So I think the numbers add up to me.
Okay, wonderful. So is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the local government officers' compensation as presented.
I second.
Okay, roll call vote, starting with Council Christensen,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Hyatt,
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Going back to number 2, public hearing, enterprise fund transfers. Kathy?
If it's all right, I'm just gonna go through the entire budget, so it's gonna encompass the next 3 hearings, and I'll try and point it out. If you have questions along the way, just let me know. So since we adopted the tentative budget, these are the changes that we've made. We've made an adjustment for school employee training for the police to meet new state requirements. We've rolled over the Utah Avenue project in VMC. We've put in a new vehicle for engineering. We rolled over the cart storage building of golf for the RV park. We've updated the workers' compensation allocation throughout the budget. And how that works is the allocation is based on payroll. So anytime we change the payroll, it just shifts throughout the budget, and we've updated that. We've adjusted the cost of a streets loader lease. We've increased property tax revenue to reflect potential property tax increases now going through. We've made wage adjustments due to promotion and the police in competitive wage pricing in street, storm, B&C, and landfill. We've upgraded water 1-ton flatbed to a 1-ton dump bed for water. We rolled over B&C projects from 2024. The basic problem there was couldn't get any contractors that wanted to bid. We've rolled over storm drain, curb and gutter for 100 North project from 2024. We rolled over planning department funds for computers and tables. We added new insurance rates. We added new billing software for the ambulance department. We've adjusted economic development, excuse me, for net golf tournament earnings. We've adjusted landfill for a new garbage truck lease, and we've rolled over funds for the RV park exterior. That might be a duplicate.
Is that the new gate?
No, that's the and it was a rollover from last year. We just had the same thing with contractors, just not getting it done in time, but it was just reshelling the current building where we store cars at the RV park.
Okay.
Insurance renewal. We've got the final numbers on that. General liability insurance is now $437,502. Workers' comp is $98,956. Employee health insurance increased 6.2% and dental increased 4.7%. Some highlights. We've added 4.5% adjustments to individual wages. It's just approved. We've given department heads mostly in operational needs what they've requested. And the total proposed budget for 2025 is $132,967,706. Property proposed utility rate increases. An independent rate analysis suggests a power rate increase of 5.5% for the next 4 years. We've already raised rates the first year. And this is to provide the new electrical plant operations and SUVPS bonding obligations. In the water fund, the 4-bay bond amount is going to be transferred from the general fund. Initially, when we bonded for 4-bay, it was a watershed area, so it was natural to expense it out of the water fund. But now it's moving more to recreational purposes, so we're transferring money from the general fund. We're making the final payment for the CUP infrastructure. We're working on the Christian Life Assembly Church. That was grant funded. We've got a CDBG grant for 500 South. Patterson Pump Station, upgrade the SCADA system and security cameras. We're doing the Salem City Interconnect, and 1/5 of the Red Bridge well through impact fees. Replacing a Mini-X, and we're expecting that the sale of the Mini-X will offset a lot of the cost of this. 1,700 foot of 24-inch pipe of Payson Canyon. And this is the overall budget for the water fund. It's $8,727,000 budget in revenues, and then the offset in the expenditures. You'll see kind of a decrease in that fund, and the main reason is that we used up the ARPA funds for that, so we don't have as big a budget this year. And the impact fees for the water fund is going to be $1,847,000. Solid waste fund. They asked for a new garbage truck lease, and they asked for a new truck driver. And this is the solid waste budget. Again, you'll see a decrease, and this is mainly through for completing the tipping, is it the tipping station? Scale house, sorry. And the offset to that is $4,255,668. Electric power. They've asked for a line truck. Initially, we had proposed expensing that out of electric fund, but in order to save funds, we're moving it over to the revolving loan fund so they can just pay overtime. The large capital projects is the transmission line through impact fees, the SUBPS participation in bonding, the power plant, distribution circuit, lighting projects, and then mini-X. And this is the electric fund. It's 20,147,597. If you look at the expenditures, a big portion of that is the debt service that we're expecting on the new power plant. And the $260,000 again is a transfer from the general fund to pay for the Utopia bonds. The impact fees for that is $2,627,000, and the main purpose of that is to put in the transmission line. For the sewer fund, we're finishing up again the CUP Spanish Fork line, the sewer plant construction, and I-15 trunk line, and 1/5 of the Red Bridge reimbursement. The sewer fund is $46,497,818. The biggest expense is an increase in the cost of the building and the completion of the sewer plant over there. And the impact fees are $792,523 is kind of what we're expecting. The ambulance. Major source of expenditures is operational expenses in the ambulance department. The ambulance service has been enhanced by the paramedic program. An ambulance was ordered last year and should be received in the next couple of years. So we're maintaining that as an encumbrance in the revolving loan fund. As soon as that comes, we'll be able to pay that off. They're actually making payments towards that right now. So the ambulance fund is $1,534,719. Golf fund, an entrance gate for $25,000, a people moving car for $15,000, a top dresser reel grinder, $25,000, deck chairs and tables, $10,000. And this is the golf fund, it's $2,050,000. And there's the offset to it. A storm drain. Again, the CP project is Spanish Fork. The citywide curb and gutter, $300,000. Box culvert grant program, $2 million. Business park injection well, $300,000. Curb box and inlet repair, $25,000. And so the budget for the storm drain this year is $4,479,049. So transfers and indirect costs. This went out in the newsletters. I didn't add in the indirect costs for information technology and vehicles in the citizens newsletters, but we have to send out one more notice, and I will include it in that. That this shows kind of the transfers, the overhead costs for services provided for the enterprise funds. Now this is operational transfers. Traditionally, we transfer 9% of revenue from enterprise funds. In the electric power department this year, though, we've lowered that to 5% to try and offset some of the expenses and help pay for some of that plant. We've also got a small transfer to the Payson Community Theater for $7,000. The two bonds that I spoke about, the Utopia bond and the Orbay bond, and a CDBG grant. And that's going to comprise the information for the first public hearing. Do you want me to just keep going or just keep going? Okay. Internal service funds. We have two internal service funds that are funded by charges to all the departments, the vehicle maintenance and the IT. The vehicle maintenance department budget is $582,711. The IT $675,298. For the vehicle maintenance, they asked for a large lift to repair the ambulance and service truck equipment. Revolving loan fund. The revolving loan fund this year, we're using $2,430,000 to buy vehicles, and these are the vehicles that we're going to replace this year. Park tax fund. This year we're expending $414,600, and this is kind of the sources. Do you want me to go over the sources that we're expending, or I don't know if you can read that. Good to go. Okay. The general fund. So we kind of had steady sales tax. Some months are better than others. Decreasing building permits, when we're looking, Dave and I were looking at that today, and we're hoping that comes up. We're proposing a roof repair on 40 South Main Building for $11,000, carpet in the banquet hall for $5,000, various planning studies, increased animal shelter fees, BNC projects, and I'll just have you look at these. These are kind of what Kent's hoping to get done this year for the BNC. Fire extrication equipment, $56,000, Polaris side-by-side and trailer, $65,000, 2 mowers for grounds. It's going to be a lease of $25,000 per year. Door scanners for the Justice Court, a library feasibility study, planning studies, recreation outfield fence repair, swimming pool toy refurbish and irrigation controllers, streets road feasibility study, sidewalk repair, and parking lots. An assistant city manager. So this is the general fund. It's a $27,853,943 budget. If you'll notice, the last 5 or 6 items on this list are we kind of treat them like special revenue funds throughout the year, but at the end of the year and through the budget, we roll them back into the general fund. So you'll see that in the financial audit that's coming up. And here's the individual expenditures for each of the departments. Redevelopment agencies. This is going to be the final public hearing. We have 2 redevelopment agencies in the city. We have the town. It's $18,000. The primary purpose of that is the Walgreens agreement. We have the business park redevelopment agency, and the primary item of that is the makerspace for the MTech, the $900,000. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. We'll go ahead and open a public hearing. I'll accept the motion for public hearing.
Mayor, I motion that we open the public hearing for the budget.
Is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, I'll open a public hearing for the enterprise fund.
Okay, the enterprise fund. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have a second for that, right? Okay, we all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Same instructions. Step to the mic, state your name, let us know where you're from, be cognizant of your time, and whether you agree or disagree with the information that Kathy just presented to us. So we'll go ahead to that point. Sir, would you come in front of the table, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I used to come over here.
No, in front of them.
Okay, all right. Well, I haven't been here for a while. My name's
That's
Chris
good.
Kilmer.
Okay.
I live here in Payson. Have you thought about changing the way that we do the budgeting? Because every year we seem to be transferring funds back and forth, right? And I think we should evaluate looking at the way we fund the city a little bit, not necessarily fund the city, but how we budget for the city. I think we need to make each entity, each department stand on its own, right? We need to quit transferring money back and forth. Right? If the electrical department makes money, let them spend it on what they need, right? If they have extra, great, you can transfer that to the general fund, right? But I think it'd be a little bit clearer on what's being spent and what it's being spent on and how much, you know. I don't know, obviously I'm not gonna know by looking through this presentation whether any of those departments are making money or if they're costing money, right? And I think that's something that us as citizens of Payson should be able to readily see which departments are making money, which ones are costing us money, right? Obviously, like fire, ambulance, police, they're gonna cost us money, that's expected, right? But like golf, so the other stuff should be standing on their own, right? And there's no way other than, I mean, I looked all through the website and I couldn't see where I could find that information. Okay. Also, are there any savings that are through efficiencies, through cost savings through efficiencies, or all this reduction is just because we're no longer spending that money on a special project?
I don't think we're gonna solve any of those here, but is there an answer you can give, Kathy?
So the best source of finding out who's making money, who's not, is gonna be the audited financial statements at the end of the year. We prepare the financial statements and then have the auditors come in. As far as looking at individual departments, in the general fund departments are expected not to make money. That's why they're covered under the general fund. The enterprise funds, however, act as individual businesses. The money that we transfer, other than the operational transfer, is overhead allocations for services provided by the general fund for the enterprise funds. Does that help?
Yep. So, I mean, just right there, I get what she's saying, because I've been to a couple different meetings, right? But you just take an average citizen off the street, they're not gonna understand a lot of what's being said there about the implications of it. So I encourage you to look at that. I brought it up last year. I think you guys should really take a good hard look at that. Because it's a lot better way to budget. You can go through and you can actually see, okay, who's being efficient, who's making us money, right? And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you for your comments, appreciate it.
Chris.
Any other individuals would like to express their opinion to us? Kim, anybody online? No? Okay. I'll take a motion to go ahead and close the public hearing.
All motions are closed in public.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Great. Any further council discussion?
You know, Mayor, I do appreciate the comments of Chris. I think anything we could do to make this a little more readable would be time well spent. So I think we should look at that and try to break this down a little more and put some more method to the madness. I think it'll also give an opportunity for some of those departments to show how they're shining. For example, like golf, the last, how many years, Tracy, that
5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years that we've been making quite a bit of money with
We're
the
just
golf.
under $1 million this year.
Yeah, so this will be a great opportunity for those departments to say, hey, look at the revenue we're bringing in. And so I think if we could look at a line item like that, I think that'd be a good idea.
And it's always important, I always worry about the golf because we put a bunch of parks and stuff in there with the golf budget. And that's probably our bigger lost leader is our parks over the golf. And so it is tough, but it does look back to the public when it's like, well, they're in the hole and they're really not. So
Really not,
and more transparency definitely would help, but it's a lot of information.
and I think too that, you know, as a government entity, we all understand that primarily we are asset consuming. It's not our job to make money off of the residents. And so, yeah, with that caveat, knowing that, yeah, darn it, we do spend a lot of money.
But it is good for the city to be financially.
Absolutely, and that's who we spend it for.
And that's why we have
right?
some enterprise funds that will help us to.
And sometimes we use the enterprise fund to kind of glean a little bit of money out of our tax exempt entities as well. So it's.
What are the downfalls of governmental accounting standards and that Utah State has adopted is that we have to just present a balanced budget. However we do that. So again, the financial statements at the end of the year will be a big indicator of how the departments are doing. It's hard to show in a budget.
Will that be something we could do during the city council meeting at the end of the year though?
The audit is presented, yes, and I'll give you a bound copy of the audit, so you'll be able to see everything. Any other information you'd like, happy to provide anything you like.
Point well taken, because there's some regulations we have to conform to. Okay.
I just have one comment going along with Council Christensen about the enterprise fund and transferring. It is a way to those nonprofits that don't pay any property taxes is a way that they can help fund our police and our maintenance and our staff overhead, things like that.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Okay, this doesn't call for any motion on the council's part, but so we'll move to number 4. 4, public hearings, last ordinance fiscal year 2024-2025. We've already heard the information from Kathy regarding our fiscal budget. I'll accept the motion to open a public hearing. You have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Again, the same instructions. Please step on the mic, state your name and tell us where you're from. Whether you agree or disagree with the information we've been privy to. Not seeing anyone coming to the mic here in council chambers, Kim. No one online. I'll accept the motion to close the public hearing.
A motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion has been seconded. All in favor for closing, say aye.
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 Any further council discussion?
I've got a couple of things I'd like to discuss. First of all, the 300,000 for the sidewalk. I know we pushed for that and I love that it's there. I just don't want it to kind of get absorbed into something else. You know, the CBDG grant comes in and says, hey, we're going to redo a 500 South. Well, let's just take that 300,000 right now and put it into the sidewalks. And if it's not something that's covered, great. That's an ideal place to do it. I've always been in favor of do it once, not twice, but maybe just kind of a little report on that. I know that's kind of tricky, but, and then the other one, had some concerns from some different departments on matching funds. And I am not opposed at all to matching funds. I love the fact that there are people out there hunting grants down. I mean, Brian does a great job. He's found a lot of money for different things. I just wonder if, as a council, we can allocate in the budget, hey, these are matching funds for grants for X amount. And that's kind of where we draw the line, that we're not out. I mean, yeah, if we found a matching fund for a $600 million to do whatever we wanted, that's not going to do us any good because we don't have that kind of money. And so to set that in the budget to run with it would be really nice, to just put a dollar amount on that. I don't know what that dollar amount necessarily would be. I know that we've had to have some Parks Department adjustments to cover things, which I'm not complaining, I think it would help ease those concerns of those departments that they're not going to get blindsided with trying to find it in their own budget or have to do a budget amendment. I don't know if we can leave that as something that with caveat, kind of like, oh, this is the petty funds, but that's not really what we want. We want something where we can approve a matching fund that way. But
Sometimes those matching funds are in-kind donations too.
yes, there's a lot of different ways, and I think it's a small little mini X we got for doing the trails up Bay, and the grant came in, and now the parks had to make adjustments to this fiscal year budget because of that. And it might make it easier and less stressful and give us that to say, hey, this is how much do we have left in our matching fund? I'm going after this grant. Can we afford it?
Yeah, let's look at that. Just maybe bring it back through a budget amendment once we figure out.
Yeah, I'm about a day late and $1 short, but I was pinned at the Scottish Festival, and that's, you do what you gotta do, but I did remember to bring it up, make sure Weston knows I talked about it.
Well, that's a good point, Nate. So
So I just, I
appreciate
think we just look at anything that they're gonna go after, and make sure that the superintendent knows that that's happening, so that, oh, okay, I've gotta come up with this much money to go with that too.
Yeah, where they had other plans for the money.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, I'll accept a motion to proceed on this item.
I'll move that we accept the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. As presented.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, then, motion been seconded, roll call vote, starting with Council Hewlett,
Yes.
Council Hyatt,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Point to C, adjournment to redevelopment agency, I'd accept a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, starting with Council Christensen,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Hyatt,
Yes.
and Council Hewlett.
Yes.
remembering that we are, what are we in the directors? Okay. We've already heard, from Kathy regarding the redevelopment agency. We'll go ahead and open accept the motion to open a public hearing.
A motion to open the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, same instructions, please step to the mic if you'd like to talk to us, state your name and tell us where you're from, and be cognizant of your time. Like, agree or disagree with the information that Kathy presented to us. Come on, sir, appreciate it.
Chris Kilmer, first I apologize, I was late, I got stuck in traffic, and so I missed the tax the whole time. So I want to just put something on record, I'll send an email to you guys as well, but I just want to put on record, this is the last chance today to do that, correct? So I think we need to reevaluate our approach to taxation. Like, taxation is legal theft, right? You're taking my money and you're spending it, and I don't get a say in it, right? You guys represent me and how we're gonna spend that money, right? I think we need to reevaluate it. Keep that in mind a little bit more when we talk about raising taxes, raising fees, all these different things. Right? I think we need to start living within our budget, right? We need to start reducing our budget, right? We could be surprised when you're forced to reduce how much better you'll do, right? How much more efficient you'll be. And I honestly, I challenge you guys to go to work and figure out a way to completely eliminate the property tax. Right?
That's above our pay grade.
Yeah, we can't do anything.
We can't do anything about that.
You can eliminate the Payson portion of it. You raise it, you can lower it. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, then that money will go somewhere else.
That's right. It'll
And
go
we
in my
won't,
pocket.
we won't have the benefit of it.
It'll go in my pocket. And do you know what'll happen with it?
We get 12% of that.
Do you know what? Listen, do you know what would happen with all the money that I didn't pay to you guys, my property tax? I'd spend it. And you would get it back in property, in sales tax. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking, real leadership would be saying, let's set some really hard goals, right? And let's go out there and let's do it, right? Do you know what? Maybe you couldn't completely eliminate it, but maybe you would find out that, we don't need as much as we thought we did. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate it. Anyone else would like to take the opportunity to express their opinions? Okay, anybody online? Okay, I'll accept the motion to go ahead and close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Any further council discussion?
Yeah, as elected officials, it's one of our most important duties is to with education, information, and prudence, spend these cherished tax dollars. And so I hope we continue to look at better ways to do that and tighten the budget while maintaining a solvent city.
Okay, I'll accept the motion on the item, the fiscal year 2024-25 RDA budget.
I move that we accept the fiscal year 2024-2025 RDA budget as presented.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and seconded, roll call vote as directors. Director Christensen,
Yes.
Director Rowley,
Yes.
Director Moss, Director Hyatt,
Yes.
Director Hewlett.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, motion carries. Go to D, accept the motion to adjourn from redevelopment agency.
A motion to adjourn from the redevelopment agency.
Second.
Okay. Motion seconded, roll call vote, starting with Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Oh, Director Hewlett, sorry, Director Hewlett, I'm doing so good. Director Hewlett,
Yes.
Director Hyatt,
Yes.
Director Moss,
Yes.
Director Rowley,
Yes.
Director Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you. Going to E, adjournment, accept the motion to adjourn, and a second.
I move that we
Mayor.
adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you for being here.
Thank you.